Taking a few more breaths in your child's pose. And then slowly, with helping hands, bringing yourself into a tabletop position. And then you're just going to flip yourself down onto a seated and come lying onto the back. Feel free to grab a little bit of water at this time if you need it, but we're going to come into some core strengthening exercises and ones that are a little bit longer on repetition and time. So if you do need any kind of props, again, they're in close reach. So take your time. We're going to be lying down on the back. And when you get there, just allow the knees to TP in toward one another. Allow the palms to rest on the belly. And then close the eyes. Just take a moment here. We're just going to bring a little bit of awareness in through the lower spine and the lower abdominal area by coming into very gentle pelvic tilts. So as you notice, as you inhale, the belly expands, the lower back arches. As you exhale and the belly pulls back in, slightly the lower back lengthens. I want you to really highlight this movement and start to get a little bit more exaggerated. So as you inhale, the belly lifts, really arcing out the lower back. And as you exhale, tailbone tucks, engaging through the lower core to push the air out, continuing with the cycle of breaths. And with time, as you get more lengthening sensation through the lumbar, maybe the lower back can actually touch the mat. Either breathing with a regular breath or ujjayi if you choose. So creating that constriction at the back of the throat. Good. Taking 2 more breaths as you slowly just allow the knees to naturally part so they're about hips width. Beautiful. On your next inhale, feet are hips width. Exhale, start to lift the hips, vertebrae by vertebrae, up toward the ceiling. Coming into like a baby bridge. Okay, reaching the fingertips toward the heels. You're holding your highest point. Eyes can remain closed. Or maybe you're focusing on a point, squeezing your lower glutes, and just try to find a little bit more height. Taking 1 more breath, pressing the palms and the forearms down to gather a little bit more height. And then slowly, as you exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, the spine comes back to touch. Bringing the right knee in toward the chest, interlace the fingers, and then you could either extend that left leg straight down the mat, or if there's any kind of pain or if you need a little bit of support, you could keep that left knee bent. Inhale the forehead up to the kneecaps. And then exhale, relaxing your head back down toward the mat. Shake the head from side to side. And let's just take about 3 more nice deep belly breaths here. Good. Slowly releasing the right leg down, extending it toward the back end of your mat, arms reaching toward the top end of your mat, full body stretch. There's a yawn in there, even better, circling out the ankles and the wrists. And we're just going to switch sides here. So bending at the left knee, fingers interlace. Nice, slow, rhythmic breaths. Once again, inhale your forehead up to the kneecap. And then exhale, relaxing your head back down, shaking your head from side to side. And just take a few more breaths here. With the strength of the arms, try to slightly bring that left leg a little bit closer. Once it touches the chest, then you could slowly start to allow the inner left leg to go down the side of the body so you get a little bit more opening, and then just allow the belly to inhale and exhale, expanding against that leg. Bending your right knee, happy baby, opening your stance and then reaching for the insteps or outsteps of the feet. It's up to you if you want to sway from side to side a little bit. We're just kind of trying to find that relaxation in through the lower back, get that flexibility. But mainly we're just trying to bring that body to a state of calm before we come into core exercises. Now these core exercises, it's not about going on the surface of the core. We want to go a little bit deeper than that, because overall, the deeper we get in toward that midline, when we come into balancing poses, we're able to successfully get through them. Good. Slowly releasing the feet down toward the mat. Interlace your fingers now and place them at the back of the head. You're going to try your best to let go of the weight of your head in the palms, and then you're just going to use the strength of the arms to bring the head up. Draw the chin toward the chest, or better yet, toward the neck itself, and then find Ujjayi breath, kind of like a Jadalinder Bandh here. Throat lock, take 5 breaths. Nice work. Gently releasing your head down, and then slowly start to reach both legs up toward the ceiling. Okay, taking a moment here, reaching the arms up, coming into like a dead bug pose. Feet are at hips width, flexed, and then fingers and palms are facing the shins. Now very slowly, start to lower down the right leg. Maybe you stop at that 45-degree mark, or maybe you could lower all the way down to hover the heel off of the mat. Okay, and then slowly bring that right leg back up. And we're going to switch, lower down the left leg with control, slowly, until that heel hovers off of the mat. Keeping that engagement in your core. Taking 2 more breaths. And then as you slowly bring that left leg up, we're going to add on. You're going to lower down that right leg. So we're just scissoring out the legs. And now you're going to add the left arm reaching down. For those of you that are already getting agitated because of the speed, then this is a perfect challenge for you. We're moving nice and slow. Switching, left leg lowers down, right arm, starts to lower. So opposite arm to opposite leg. And then just continue to move here. We're here for a couple minutes. from my training and practices, I've noticed that mainly in the West, it's always go, go, go. You're getting through these sets and reps as fast as possible. However, doing training in the East, it's very mindful movements. It's very slow movements. So we're gonna try our best to combine the two. Yes, we're getting into the core. Yes, you're getting the exercise that your physical body needs. However, by slowing it down, you start to get into more of a mental and emotional practice. Okay, continue moving the arms and the legs. And what I mean by those two realms is that mentally you start to notice, okay, well, where are my thoughts today? What am I getting distracted by? And then, of course, with that, there's that byproduct of emotion. And instead of attaching yourself to either of them, just allow them to pass. Observe it for what it is. You may label it, but don't identify by it. Okay, we're almost there. We're going to add on shortly. Taking your final arm and leg scissor. Coming back to that neutral dead bug pose. And then from there, you're just going to bend the knees. And I want you to envision riding a bicycle. So just like you're riding a bicycle, you're going to start to slowly bend the knee, extend the leg, and then just cycle through this set. Now your arms can stay reaching up, or if you need a little bit of support, you could take the palms to the floor, close to the glutes or even below the glutes themselves. And we're going to be here for a little bit, just a minute. And this one, because the legs are moving at this pattern, you are going a little bit faster. Keeping the eyes closed if it's a little bit easier for your focus. And I'll touch back in about 20 seconds. Good, switching your direction. Keeping that core engaged. The main modifications here, in other words, the main options, is limit your angle. So maybe you're doing this at a 45 instead of lowering the heels so they're just hovering off of the mat. Shaking the head from side to side, keep moving the legs. You just want to make sure that you're loosening the muscles of the neck. You're not holding any tension there. The strength is coming directly from your core. Okay, you're here for 3, 2, legs back up toward the ceiling on 1. Good, if your arms are reaching up, let's take them now underneath the hips. Forearms, palms facing down. Straighten out the legs, flex the feet, and then bring the chin up toward the chest. Nice and slowly start to lower down the legs. Once they come to a hover, take a count, and then bring the legs back up. Slow and controlled, lower down the legs so they hover. And then with control, bring them back up. Good. Head down toward the mat. Continue to move here slowly. If you want to get challenged more, it's about going slower. Maybe even hold the heels hovering off the mat for a few seconds before bringing the legs back up. Okay, you're here for 2 more. If you happen to finish the 2, you can hug the knees into the chest, close the eyes, just take a moment, maybe even rock the body from side to side. Nice work. Planting the feet down, slowly roll to your right or left. And with helping hands, bringing yourself up toward a seated. Sitting in the middle of the mat, instead of having a really tight bond in the area of the ankles, you're going to find a little bit of looseness. So you've got your props there if you need it. You're going to walk the flesh and the muscle back of your body. And you're just going to come hinging from the hips and reaching the arms forward. Roll the shoulders down and back, and then take the eyes to look down. Maybe you could lower down onto the forearms. Getting into that area of your glutes, back hamstrings, and lower back. Good, taking about 2 more breaths. We're just letting go of the work that we did in those core exercises. Bring yourself back up. Easy today, switch. Walk the flesh and the muscle back. Roll the shoulders, flat spine, hinging from your hips, and then start to lower down. Both sides are going to be different, so just move slowly. Good. With helping hands, bring yourself back up and coming into a tabletop. Let's cross through the feet, the legs. A few cat-cows just to loosen up the belly, rounding out through that spine on your exhalation. Inhale, really peeling those shoulders back, opening up through the collarbone. And then just continue to take a few more. We're going to finish with thread the needle. Left palm down center, right arm up toward the ceiling. Inhale, find that opening. And then exhale, thread that right arm underneath the left side of the body. And then continue to move through this movement. If your body feels really good in movement, you could just continue to cycle through. For those of you that are feeling a little bit more passive today, maybe something's up, then you're just going to touch down the shoulder and you're going to hold that thread the needle for 2 breaths. Try to pull that right hip back toward the back right corner of your mat. Good work. Slowly bring yourself back to neutral. And we're going to switch. Right palm toward the center, left arm up toward the ceiling on an inhale, twisting from the belly. And then exhale, continue as you just open up through that area of the lumbar spine. Whether you continue to move, or maybe you touch down. For those that are touching down, you want to do your best to balance out the hips. So slightly pull that left hip back. And gather that opening. About 2 more breaths here. Planting through that palm, coming into your tabletop, and coming into that child's pose. So today's practice was more about doing, rather getting too complex into the adjustments or modifications. So just trust that what your body did today was enough. The focus was really coming into the posture itself and then moving and using the breath to cycle through. So you guys did great. Taking 3 breaths, forehead to the mat. You can add on, or perhaps you're coming into your final posture. Whatever it is, 3 breaths.